Hello, hello, it's June Olson with Junebug Creations, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you live from Whitefish, Montana. And I had a post earlier today about tools that would help you with your kit experience. So what I want to talk to you about is show you those tools because I did get some questions. What do they do? So I thought, oh, that is a perfect live to show you what they do. And then tomorrow we will talk about scrapbooking. So let me go ahead and switch the camera and let's go through each of the tools that I mentioned in the post and explain to you how they help you, how they make your kit experience that much easier, or your stamping experience in general that much easier. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that I had picked that are my top go-to things. I use them pretty much every time I stamp and make cards or scrapbook or do anything crafty, pretty much. So we're going to start with one thing and we're going to go around and talk about the others. So let's start with the blocks. All right, I told you that when you get your kit, if it is a Stampin' Kit, it will come with this block. You can see here, and I'll get the same size block. So this is the same size block. All right, it's a D block, but it's a little bit wider, you can see, and it's got a groove here that allows your fingers to kind of rest in there. All right, yesterday when I was stamping, I had to make sure I didn't get my fingers in the ink. Granted, if you are using a kit, you're just using a small little ink spot. If you are using a larger one, like I was, then you have your fingers that kind of get in the way. So the other thing is you only get this one size. When I had yesterday put the sentiment across the top, I had to be careful not to dip this into the ink. The nice thing is that these come in, there's other sizes, but these are my most used sizes. So I have extras of them. I have multiples of the D, C, and B, and then I have one of these over here and one of these at my other counter behind me. Because this one isn't used quite as often, it just depends on how big your stamp is. They are numbered or lettered. So this is block E. This is block D. This is the general size that you can use for everything and anything. It's the same size as the one that comes in your kit. And then we have C and D, so you can see they get a little bit smaller, and that way when you have smaller images, they're kind of hard to do. So when I have a smaller image and I only have a D block, I use a corner like I did for that sentiment yesterday. So that's where these ergonomic blocks are great for, but do you have to have them to stamp? No. Do you have to have them with your kits? No. If you are doing something other than kits, then yes, you do need blocks. And when you order a stamp set, it will tell you what size blocks you need. All right, so you'll want to make sure that if you're going to start stamping, you're going to start buying stamp sets, you are going to want to invest in a few of these, but they last and they can easily be wiped up and cleaned. I think some people throw them in the dishwasher. That I've never done because I also put my Junebug sticker on here so that I know that they're mine when I go somewhere. But you can easily wash them in just some soap and water, or I use my Norwex Enviro cloth and the window cloth to clean them as well. So that works, but they are cleanable. Speaking of cleaning, and what goes along with the blocks is the Simply Shammy. So the Simply Shammy, I'm not going to open this one, and my other ones are actually in the laundry because that's how I clean it. So the Simply Shammy is kind of like just a big sponge, and you just get it wet, wring it out, and then you twist your, so if you have a stamp on here, you just kind of clean it like that, and then you can take your stamp off. You'll clean it on, obviously, outside of the plastic. They come like this, looking nice and purple. You can see how it's still a little bit damp, so it will come a little bit damp. And what I do is I send you a case to keep it in. So before you clean it, because I don't know if you saw mine, they are filthy. Before you clean it, you want to stamp off the ink as much as possible on your scratch paper and then clean it. Otherwise, this will become black. is still usable when it becomes black. And then I usually put mine in my wash about every other time. You know, I wash weekly, so about every other week I throw this in there. Except I have forgotten the last couple times, and so they are really in need of washing. You can either throw them in your laundry in one of those net bags for lingerie, or you can wash it with just dish soap and water at your sink if you want. I like to do that periodically, but I like to throw them into my wash regularly. I throw them in. Some people are going to freak out here. Hi, Sharon. How are you? You love your blocks? Yeah, the blocks are really awesome, and they really help. They really help with having all the different sizes. So I throw this in with my whites because I wash it hot. Now I don't dry it. I don't put it in the dishwasher. I don't put it in the wash. Excuse me. I don't put it in the dryer. All right. I only have it in the washing machine, and then I take it out and I put it back in its case and I bring it back in here. You can cut it. Some people cut them so that they can use them to wipe things down. You don't have to. I have one that's just full size, and I have one that is cut. You can use both sides of it before you wash it if you want. It's completely and totally up to you. But the more you stamp off on your paper before you clean your stamp, the longer it will stay clean. It's not going to stay clean forever. I promise you that. And then this is not airtight, but you don't want it to be because things will grow if it's airtight. So you don't want it to be airtight. You just want to lay this in here, of course, without the plastic. You want to lay this in here, and then when the edges start to get firm, you just go get it wet. All right? Or each time you're about to use it, you go get it wet. And you don't want it sloppy wet. You want to kind of squeeze it out, but you don't want to squeeze it out so much that it's dry because then it doesn't clean as well. You want some dampness in there. You don't want this. You don't want to keep it. I see some people keep it in a plastic baggie. No, you want it to breathe because otherwise things might grow on it. And I don't know about you, but I don't like germs growing on my things. So I keep it in one of these, just like this. It fits perfectly, you can see. And it's great, quick and easy for cleaning your inks. Now, if you're using StazOn ink, that's an ink that is a solvent ink. You don't want to clean it with this. You need to use your StazOn ink cleaner to clean it, and then a wipe or something. But this is great for just your everyday stamping and cleaning. So the blocks and the chamois kind of go together because of the inks. All right, next I want to talk to you about the adhesives. So this adhesive, the multi-purpose liquid glue, this is the one, this is my go-to. This is the first one I grab. I have these little shot glasses that I got decorated, and so you'll see it in there because you want it to stay either upside down or you want to have it flat. If you stand it like this, you're going to drain all that liquid glue to the bottom, and then you have to go and shake it down. So the other thing that many people don't realize is there's two ends. There's the skinny end where the glue comes out and you just squeeze it. It sometimes gets stuck in there, so I usually have a boutonniere pin handy, and then I just stick it down in there like that and pull it back out, and then later I clean off the pin, and then this will work. The other thing, when you're gluing, you just want a line is fine, a lake is a mistake. You just want a fine line of glue near your edges. But if you get too much, there's this end, and a lot of people don't even realize there's a second end. Sharon, did you know there was a second end? There's a second end, and this one, if you do get too much or you get a blob, you can use it to spread it out because you don't want just a big blob on the back of your paper. All right, that will just make a mess. So you can use this end to just kind of spread it out. So I love this multi-purpose glue. I love the fact that it has the two ends, but you do, when you're using it, you do want to keep it upside down. There's all kinds of holders you can do. I just, like I said, I paid for someone to put the little sparkle grass on there, and it's just a shot glass. You can go to the dollar store and get a shot glass for $1.25 if you don't have one in your cabinet somewhere, or some other little something to keep it standing like that. That just helps the glue stay closer to the point. All right, next, I'm saving the best for last. Next is our bone folder. All right, so the bone folder is one of those things where people are like, do I really need it? Well, it just depends on how you look at it. I didn't have one in the beginning for a long time. I just used my thumbnail when I folded something. I just scraped my thumbnail along it, and that was good enough for me. The other thing I did and have is I used to use a food scraper. I started off with a Pampered Chef food scraper, and then I graduated to this Junebug food scraper because my mom gave it to me. And so what I did is I just filed the edge so that it wouldn't be sharp and tear up my paper. And once or twice it did kind of tear my paper, so I thought, okay, June, you are a demonstrator. You probably should just go ahead and get a bone folder. And I'm so glad I did, because they are so much easier to use. You just fold your paper and you can just run it right there like that, and it keeps it from popping up. I usually do both sides. You can run it along here. You can use it like this. You can, if you're doing some sort of like a little box like this, or a little bag like this, you can use this to stick the inside down. All right. You can sometimes use this for things too. This is actually a little bit of a multi-purpose tool at times, not just a bone folder. All right. You have all of these tools? Yeah. So you knew, not right away, but you've never used the larger end. Oh, you haven't? Oh, yeah, I have. I've used the larger end a number of times when all of a sudden the glue came splotching out and I needed to smooth it out. So just keep that in mind if your glue ever just does a big blob. So you can see the Stampin' Up! Logo just kind of rubs off, and what I did is I put my little Junebug sticker on there, so that when I go places, I know that it's mine, or when I have classes. I have had people walk away and then bring it back because there's like, oops, it has your sticker on it, this was yours. So that's always nice that they're willing to do that. Some people use it and they get it. You'll see some demonstrators, theirs are black, because they'll use this as a multi-purpose tool doing other things, like when they are putting ink on their, re-inking their ink pads. Well, I didn't want this to turn color, so I use this now for re-inking my ink pads. So the bone folder is handy, but it's not a must-have, especially if you have a thumbnail or you have a Pampered Chef food scraper. Just make sure you file the food scraper so that it doesn't tear up your paper, because that edge is sharp. You want to kind of round it out and make it soft. All right, last but definitely not least, I would have to say it's the #1 tool that I use is the Take Your Pick tool. Now when you get the Take Your Pick tool, let's see, where is it? When you get the Take Your Pick tool, you also get a stylus where it has a small end and a large end. All right, you get 2 of these putty ends. All right, so you get 2 of these, and they last a long time, let me tell you. They last a very long time. And then on this one, this end is your point, and when you turn it and pull it off, here is your little spatula end. And the spatula end and the point can kind of do some of the same things, but then the spatula will also do some other things. I don't use the spatula a whole lot. That's why mine always has this point. I use this for poking things out of the dies, for poking things out of something that's already die cut, for gems, for glue dots. All right, so that's the big thing for glue dots. You can just pick them up like that. Super easy and quick. Missy, who's in this group, she pretty much was going to give up completely on card making because she was so frustrated with these glue dots. And I said, wait, get the Take Your Pick tool. At the time it was $10. Now it's $11, I think. But it's worth every penny. Trust me, you will not regret having this Take Your Pick tool. All right, because especially if you're dealing with glue dots, look how easy it is to pick up. Not only that, some people use this end for their gems, but I like to use the putty end. And so when you first put it on, you just tighten it here, and as the putty starts coming out, you want to loosen this, because if you don't loosen it, it's just going to keep coming out. So this is full of putty, and so when I first got it, it was It was way up here. All right, and as I've used the putty, then it's come down. All right, and as it gets closer to this, then this is getting more and more empty, and it pushes it out. So you can use this for picking up gems. Quick and easy, and putting them on your card. All right, just pick them up, just push them like that, and it picks it up. If you're using sequins, it's great for picking up sequins and any other little gems. If you have little pieces of paper that you want to pick up, you can also pick up, here we go, like this. You can just pick up the little piece of paper and put it down wherever you need to on your card. So it's a nice little grabber thing without you having to try and pick it up with your fingers. All right, so you have your putty end, and you get 2 of those. And this, honestly, I've had this take your pick tool since it came out about 7 years ago. I want to say it was after I moved here to Montana, so probably about 7.5 years ago. I got it immediately. I started using it. This might be still my first one, or it might be my second putty. I can't remember exactly, but it's only my first or second one. So then what I did is they came out with some other ends to the take your pick tool. All right, so we have this one, and I don't use this one very much, but every now and then I do like to use it, but that's a whole nother technique thing that I'm not going to go into here. So what I did is I bought another take your pick tool. I took these ends off of it, and I use it for my stylus, my embossing stylus, and then this is a perforator. All right, and you would have to, I'm not going to show you how to use it right now. You would have your foam mat, and you can run it along your paper, and it will perforate the edges so that you can tear them apart. And so I got tired of having this and this just in my little tub, so I went ahead and I put this on here, and then I added this. This is from here, but I have an extra one, and so I just put it on, and that way I can have it in my little tool bin sticking in here with this one. Well, then they also, along with the perforator, they came out with a utility knife. Well, this is super handy to have. So I have that, and it screws on just right where the putty would go. Both of them just screw on right there. All right. And then it also came with this end, which is a longer, skinnier point, which is nice because every now and then this point is a little too thick. And then the other side of it is a hook. I'm not sure what people use this for. I think if you're into Cricut machines and stuff, then you may. Hi, Missy. Great to have you on here. Yeah, glue dots are impossible without the take your pick tool. For sure. That has been a lifesaver for everybody. So this is one for weeding, I think it's called, on your Cricut. So I think that's what they use that for. To me, it looks like a toothpick, but I don't use it for my teeth. I just, again, I have it in here, but there are times when I might need it, and at least I've got it handy. I do use this one a lot. All right, so I have 3. That means I have 6 of these, and I've only used 1 or 2. And then I have others of these and these stylus ones, but that's okay. They're just in a drawer. I just actually put this one on. This is a brand new one, and I traded out my other one because the tip was getting, from all the usage, the tip was getting a little bit dull. So I just put that new tip on, and now I'm all excited because I have 3 take your pick tools with all the ends on them, and I love it, and I use them. You'll see me during my lives, especially this one, the main basic one. I use it all the time. If you're not a huge scrapbooker or card maker, I wouldn't recommend these. I would just invest in one. It's $11, maybe $11.50. I don't remember if they raised the price on it. But it's worth every penny, and you will never regret it. It is the most useful tool ever. I don't know how I scrapbooked for 20 years before this came into my life. I really have no idea, because I use it for everything. It's like my third hand. So I would highly recommend this. Again, it comes with the stylus, and then it comes with 2 of these putty ends. So it will last a long time. a very long time, and it's worth your 11 bucks, let me tell you. So those are the tools that I use on a regular basis, pretty much every time I stamp, every time I do a live, every time I craft. These tools, I guess I didn't need to put them in. These tools, the only other thing that I used that wasn't in there was the scissors. I love our paper snips. I have one for paper and I have one for ribbon, and I keep it separated out, and I only use it for ribbon so that it is always sharp for ribbon. Once it kind of dulls because of cutting a whole lot of ribbon, it becomes my paper scissors, and I buy a brand new one. The brand new one is always my ribbon scissors, and these were charms that we did at one of the retreats. It was one of the table gifts. So I always get these, and these are nice and sharp. That's why they have the case on them, because they will draw blood. Ask me how I know that. Yep. Hi, Christy. Great to see you on here. You finally bought a Take Your Pick tool and love it. Yes. Are you wondering how you lasted this long without it? It's just crazy how that happens. So this is the only other thing that I would put in here with this as I use it every single time. Okay, not these. I use it every single time I craft all of these things, every single time without fail. Without fail, these are my most used tools. So tell me, what are your most used crafting tools? Or if you're a beginner, what do you think you need the most? Maybe you've got a good pair of scissors at home and you're like, you know, I don't need the paper snips. And maybe you're like, you know, I got fingernails, I got a pampered chef thing, I don't really need a bone folder. Okay. So what other things do you think would make your kit experience or your crafting experience that much better? All right. So thank you so much for joining me, ladies. Christy and Missy and Sharon, I appreciate you jumping on during the live. If you are catching this on a replay, I trust you've been commenting all along, answering questions, because you get entry points for that box of cards. Now, I didn't make a card today, as you could tell, so I'm going to stick some extra cards in the box for you to make up for not making a card today. All right, so the chamois and glue, all right, yeah, those snips are super sharp. They are. I've drawn blood more often than I ought to have. More often. So same as you, although I often forget to wet my chamois, so use other means to clean it. Oh, okay. No, if I forget, then before I clean my stamps, I run upstairs and get it wet. I wish I had a sink in here. It would make life easier, but I don't. So I just run up and get it wet. But make sure you clean it periodically, because it will start to smell. I mean, it just water sitting in plastic, you know, it's going to smell. But remember, if you order a chamois, I will send you the case for free. You don't have to order a case. I will send you the case for free for ordering the chamois. So if you want a chamois and you place that order, don't order the case. Just send me your email or your mailing address, and I will send this to you. Actually, when you place an order, I'll see your address. So then I'll mail it to you. So chamois are... these are so good. There are other things that we have for cleaning, but this is just the easiest. It's just the easiest. And I like it better than just using wipes, because you don't throw this away. It doesn't go into the dump and ruin our environment. That's why I like this. It's reusable for a long, long time. I have two of them, usually one over here, one over there, and they are awesome. They're just in the laundry right now so that I don't forget to clean it again. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Oh, hi, Kathy. I see you. You like that little tool? Yeah, yeah. Cleaning your teeth. You're not cleaning my teeth. You were cleaning teeth. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Oh, cleaning my teeth with the, yeah, with the one with the hook. It does look like a toothpicky thing. It does. You would know. You were a hygienist, so you would know. But anyways, thank you for joining me, everybody. I appreciate you. I will be back tomorrow afternoon. I have something going on in the morning, so it'll be in the early afternoon, probably around 1-ish, that I will be going. And if you're watching me on my business page, I won't be able to do Thunderstruck Thursday today. After all, we've had a snafu from this morning, and I'm whipped with, with the parents. So there was just a little snafu that just is kind of tiring. So I did this live. This is going to be it for today. I will do the Thunderstruck Thursday next week. Hopefully everything will go nice and smooth. So enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and I will see you tomorrow here in the Hello June Hot Weekly Deals vendor event, as well as on my business page. So have a great evening. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.